This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Hey there, folks. I don't know what's going on with the digital side of things here, but that looks pretty wonky to me.
It's fine.
It's the artistic version.
Right.
It makes the pretty side of my face look prettier.
Oh, there you go. I hit the wrong music, but I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems a little bit different.
You know what? This is okay because it's a different episode tonight.
Yeah, maybe that's like
everyone's stuck with just us.
Yeah, you're stuck with us, by the way.
Tonight, folks. This is when things get weird. Buckle up. This is not an episode we're going to be proud of. No, I'm just kidding.
It might be something to be
proud of.
We're
proud of all of them.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure what's going to happen.
We don't know.
We're brought to you by Spartan Forge. Head over to spartanforge.ai, code OHP. For all of the partners that we're going to talk about, we'll get you some sort of discount, but for Spartan Forge, there it is. You're going to get 25% off for their annual membership.
For those of you not good at math, that's a quarter.
Off. That's good to know.
Hey, 25 cents is
Pretty
better
good.
than no cents.
I actually passed. I took calculus in college, not by choice.
How'd that go?
I drank every time I had to do my homework. I sat at my kitchen table in my apartment. I looked out the window, and I just kept pouring. And every time I get really frustrated and start to swear, I'd pour, drink.
Were you like pouring fractions? Like, oh, that's probably...
I was not pouring fractions.
You were. You just didn't know
I
that
didn't
you were
know.
drinking the fraction, and that's how you got smarter.
You got to empty it out so you can
man.
get the next
My
fraction.
roommate would be like, "Did you finish your homework?" He's like, "Are you drunk?" I'm like, "Yeah." I passed with a B. I have no recollection.
Well
See,
done.
fractions.
Well done.
Fractions through osmosis.
I distilled it
That
down
sounds
into
like a
very
t-shirt.
simple math. Yes. Oh, man. It was all Johnny Walker. What's the cheapest one? The red?
I don't know.
Any Johnny Walker's out of my price range.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought was good. You know, I didn't know any better. So I got the red Johnny Walkers.
There you go.
Shit up. Scotch. Anyway, so yeah, Spartan Forge, am I right? I bet you, even being drunk and blurry eyed, I could still see the satellite imagery on that app. It's that good.
Wow.
Well, they have the... They don't have double vision mode. But you can talk to it.
Hey,
Talk to
Bill, get double vision mode for us. Okay, hunters that sleep in at deer camp because we had too many, you know. What's the expression? You tied one on?
Yeah.
Why is that the expression? What are you tying?
That's a great question.
Crickets.
You're not. Yeah, we know you're not tying your shoes.
No, that's why I wear rubber boots.
Slip-ons.
That's right.
Smart.
It's like the Crocs of the hunting world for me with that stuff.
In a way.
One less thing I got to worry about. Terrible foot support if you're doing anything like, you know.
Side hilling.
Yeah.
Bad.
So, yeah, and then I think my arrows are supposed to be showing up relatively soon here. I should go track my order.
I put an order in too.
For Vector Custom Shop.
ZMRs, yeah.
A couple of friends around getting the vectors, getting them dialed in. Everybody's pretty excited about them.
I am, especially to have ahead of our shoot. I'd like to display them, demo them, show people them, like we're giving them away.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, 10% off on Vector Custom Shop. If you use code OHP, you'll get some arrows shipped right to your door, custom built to your specs.
Ready to kill.
Ready to kill.
Guaranteed to kill.
Well,
as
long as you put it where it's supposed to go. Otherwise, it's guaranteed to be lost.
That happens.
Yeah. There's a guy at the BHA thing doing some tradbo stuff, and he had this like field tip that was like a spring or something.
The judo point?
The judo point. And he's like, you can just fling this thing all day. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess you can, can't you? He's like, well, you can't do that with these other arrows. You bury them in the ground. This way you just pick a target. You could shoot a freaking 4-leaf clover if you want to. Whatever you want to shoot, go shoot that.
Perfect for stump shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never seen that before. Never thought of it. And they were pretty excited about these two older guys. And if you two older guys are listening to this, you're not that old.
Old enough to be wise. That's it.
I guess right. So. Yeah, Latitude Outdoors. I got the Lone Wolf Custom Gear platform that I use with it, but we're getting new platforms from those guys.
Woo!
Steps, saddles, the whole kit and caboodle, I believe.
Steps have been pretty quiet.
They're pretty quiet in the deer woods, or
I don't know. Mom's
quiet
the word.
All over. Quiet all over.
Yeah, nobody has seen them.
Interesting.
Have you seen them?
No, I'm waiting for them to show up.
I've been watching.
No, there's gonna be a release just like they did with the platform. You saw the platform before.
I saw that platform at ATA.
Yeah. So steps. Do you think they'll even be here this year?
I hope so. Everyone struggles with the supply chain stuff right now, and like getting product. Even like us with stupid hats.
Right.
You can't get a hat for 12 weeks. What's that all about?
Yeah, we were talking about like how to stock up for stuff for the fall, and I was like, it's almost impossible. You got to put your order in.
Yeah, you got to put it in yesterday or a month ago. So yeah, I think there's a number of people. It's a challenge. So I imagine, and then it creates a high demand.
Yep.
And then they go instantly. And we're right back to square one again. Like, damn it. And it kind of like your buddy with that Ford truck they never got.
Right. Speaking of Ford trucks, I see a new one in your driveway.
Oh, that's just a loaner where the van gets the hail damage.
Oh.
They didn't give me a loaner van. They gave me another loaner Ford truck. I'm like, this does not help my wife.
Sure.
She's not happy about having to stick the
She
car
might
seat.
go mud. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
I think the one they're lending me is a V8, and it's got a little bit more giddy up than mine.
Yeah.
I got the
Shit
V6.
on the bottom end.
You got the EcoBoost?
I do, yeah. But that one sounded like it had a turbo. I don't even know, dude. I don't know what's in there.
If it's a V8, it's probably just the 5-liter, and it's not turboed at all.
It sounds very different than my truck. But I hear the so I don't know.
Maybe it's the bigger giddy up goer.
Oh, maybe that could be. Anyway.
3.5.
Anyway, yeah. And then where would we be without Go Wild at this point? I don't know. I just wrote an article for them.
Probably right where we're at, just without Go Wild.
I was pretty happy to write the piece on ego.
Yeah.
I thought that was a different piece, and putting it out on their platform, I think it fit really well.
Well, something you always talk about and you've been interested in a while.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
You got to
Good
put it on that
synthesize
platform.
that. Yeah.
Good.
And so as a result, I was on that platform a bit more because I was getting tagged in a bunch of stuff. And I was like, wow, there's been zero negativity over there at all. They encourage grip and grins. I got our Facebook page is banned from running ads right now because of the podcast post we did last week. I didn't realize it. Think about it. Didn't even occur to me. But the bow hunting league photo I shared was a dead deer. And then Facebook said, can't do that. You know who doesn't do that? Go Wild doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So now we're in Facebook jail and trying to claw our way out of it. And
that's
it's
cool.
Pain in the ass because we were just about to increase our spend with them. I'm like, well, sorry, I guess you're not going to get our money, and maybe you should tell us why that happened. They didn't even, I had to call someone over there, which was not like, you just call people over there.
Yeah.
Luckily, their salespeople have been trying to reach us. So I was like, oh, hey, Mr. Sales Guy from Facebook. You want to sell me something? Turn my fucking account back on. Because I can't spend $1 with you right now.
Let's start there.
He's like, oh, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whatever you. Oh, I'll get this ticket escalated. And then that was a week ago. Yeah. So, I mean, to go back to Go Wild, that doesn't happen there. Hunter. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So it's a challenging environment. There's a lot of that goes on. Obviously, people that are on TikTok, the moment you post something you're not supposed to, you're put into what's called a shadow ban.
Tiki-talkie jail.
Yeah. So I've never been put in a Go Wild jail.
No.
I don't even know that they have one. They should probably make one. And it's more like a party.
Like party jail.
Yeah.
Or it'll be a picture of him while he's at a party in his birthday suit or something. Then they will put him in jail.
I was going to go more the hockey route. What do they put a hockey player when they get a penalty?
Penalty box.
The penalty box.
Penalty box. There you go.
That seems like hockey players have a lot of fun in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the fans pass them down beers.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Go Wild had a penalty box where I'm getting to drink some beers.
Soccer, you get a yellow card or a red card. You don't want a red card.
I don't know. Yeah, soccer seems like a fun game. Mainly because I watched Ted Lasso.
It is until you get kicked in the face.
Everything's fun until you get kicked in the face. No, Mike Tyson said, well, it's a punch in the face.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So there's no guest today. It's just us three goofballs hanging out. But I did want to dive into a topic with Derek here and Greg and me and all three of us. Anyone else that wants to call in or comment? I see Oak Tree Dreams. Drew is in the house. What's up, Drew? Derek had the pleasure of giving a presentation at the BHA event at Horicon Bowman Archery Range in Horicon
Club.
It's a bow range.
Horicon.
Yeah.
In Horicon. Great bow range. If you've never been there, it is really, really. I know you didn't get to shoot it,
but
and your bow was in the shop.
It's still in the shop.
But I got to shoot the course, and the course was absolutely beautiful.
Another testament to why you're not one of the actual gamers. What you're doing. No, but to that point, you kind of broke down like how to zero in on bucks in big woods, and you had a bit of a formula. You kind of challenged your dad a little bit and took a lot of what he had done further. When you had a lot of like jabs at your dad on that presentation, which I appreciated.
I did.
I jab at my dad a lot on this podcast, so he gets it like on a regular basis.
You got to poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah. But my dad still has killed bigger bucks than me. So I can't, yeah, I got to stimulate growth. When we talked to the guy with the dogs, Chris Powell, he's well, we don't call it shock, we call it stimulating. Okay, yeah, that's right. Stimulate my dog a couple of times.
So how stimulating is if you get it?
You know, stimulates is drop time spirits.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I'll stimulate your liver. Give you a little poke.
Feel a little buzz.
Anyway, so Derek, I don't know. How do you fucking do it, man?
Well, I thought it was interesting because and this is kind of like, I don't know, I feel like a decent starting point, but you put it up, was it on the Shooter Buck Club?
I did.
I don't know if it was after that or before that.
It was after.
But you asked a question about rubs.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it seems like a lot of guys focus on scrapes and, finding scrapes and hunting scrapes in October and do well. But you asked a question about, like, what do rubs tell you? What do they mean to you? Do you pay attention to them? And a lot of people said, tells me there's a rub there, or tells me
Buck has an itch on its head.
This direction, or whatever.
Or they were there.
But really, like, I don't know why, but I've always been super fascinated with rubs, and they're like, that's like the only thing I pay attention to when I deer hunt. Just like, I love finding scrapes and stuff, but finding rubs on the edges or interior of thick areas is like the golden nugget to me.
The interior of a thick area. So I was watching Hunting Public last night. I did cookies and deer with my daughter. It was like,
nice.
Honestly, that goes down in the memory books as one of the better nights ever in my life.
I love when you tell that.
I never heard my daughter say she loves me so much in like one sitting. She was just so excited about it and talking about deer. Anyway, Aaron was talking about the height of a lot of the vegetation, and he was talking about that instead of really thick areas. And the thick areas, you could tell they were having a hard time getting through them, but they're also forecasting through to like, well, we're not going to come back in here at all. Like, we're scouting this now. We will never set foot in here again. So we're going to like hunt the edge of it and not come back in, and like knowing that that's where the sign was. So thick areas, I guess describe that a little bit, because we do have a range of listeners, right?
And this was kind of like where it was interesting and you said this during the seminar, because Eric and Greg were sitting up front, and I told Greg, hey, just chime in and jump in whenever you guys have something to say.
Eric's cackling you pretty good.
And
get off the stage.
Yeah, I mean, he was booing me a lot, but I got used to it after a while.
It's fine.
No,
you farted a couple times
because I was talking. The seminar I was asked to give was about hunting, kind of northern Wisconsin. So I talked about what I did up there, but Greg pointed out to everyone, like, hey, this is kind of like the recipe for success anywhere.
No matter where you go.
And I couldn't agree more. Like, this, it works everywhere.
Well,
it's just way more predictable when you get into smaller woodlots, southern Wisconsin, egg fields.
When you and I go, and we brought Eric with too. I mean, we went and hit the swamp or marsh, and we found a thick area. It was loaded with, one area in particular was just peppered with them. Rubs all over the place. Yep. And there were some that were different heights, but there were quite a few that were waist high.
And I think
good ones.
We'll get into the rub clusters too at some point.
Yes.
Talk about finding these rubs on thick interior thickets and edges.
And I wrote, we got a couple articles up for OKS Hunter. So if you're on the email, you've probably got these, and you'll get another one, because I just finished the second one
go up
like
tomorrow,
months later. So sorry. But I talked about when I scout, I don't like look at food sources. I don't give a crap about if the oaks have sign in them. I just look at the thickest areas that are on the public pieces, because they'll tell me if a big buck lives there or if it doesn't. And if a big buck doesn't live there, the property could still be good, but it's only going to be good when they're moving. You're hunting movement. I really don't like hunting movement that much. I like
bit of a dice roll.
Yeah, because you're hoping that deer is going to extend its range in daylight, and they don't always do that. So you're kind of like living on a prayer. I like hunting as close to thick as I can, because that's where deer feel comfortable moving. And that's something I learned hunting up north, is like, Dad would always say, well, do you think a deer would move in daylight in here or not? And you can tell by how many trees and brush and grass are around you whether,
right.
No, there ain't no way that they would normally feel comfortable moving here.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't. So I always scout the thickest, nastiest crap I can, or the steepest.
And so when you're scouting the thickest, nastiest shit, so you're looking at a map, you're doing some e-scouting, hopefully you're using Spartan Forge, and then you're getting boots on the ground, which is critical, because you're just not going to see everything you're going to need to see from a map,
it always
obviously.
looks different. Yep.
But then once you get in there, Are you saying that you're gonna find, if you're gonna find big buck sign, you're gonna find the majority of it as a confirmation inside of the thick stuff, like as that's where they're bedding,
Yeah.
or that's where they're spending their time?
That's ideally what you want to find is where they're spending their time. Ideally, you'd love them to live on a piece of that public, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that thick piece that they like is probably on the private, and you can see where they're coming across, or where deer are moving from a neighbor's. If you hunt private, you can see where they come across, or just from hunting there years and years and years. But ideally, that deer lives on the property you have to hunt, right?
Yep.
So you want to look at where's the most likely place that a deer can live on this property. Go to that spot before you scout the property and figure out, oh my God, there's food sources here, but deer doesn't live here. Because now you're automatically wasting time hoping that deer travels 100 yards, 300 yards, which to me is a waste of time because I don't have that much time to hunt.
So
find the thickest stuff and see if a deer actually lives there.
So then what signs are going to tell you if a deer lives there? Because I'm thinking, if we go listen to Dan Infault as an example, the authority on buck bedding, right?
Absolutely.
Hunt buck bedding. He's talked about, we had him on like eons ago. I see his YouTube videos from time to time, but he talks about get in the bed or get in the spot and look around from their level and determine, would it be easy for someone to kill me right here? And so there's a visibility component to that. The reason I ask that is, well, if it's really thick, I'm probably not going to see a lot. So then what are you getting at with this thick stuff is where I'm trying to get you to go here.
The thick stuff is just where deer can live and grow old. So, and he says a lot of this. Everything that I talk about is not like I just came up with this.
No shit, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I took bits and pieces from everything I've learned over the years from my dad, from Dan Infault. I learned a ton from. He connected a lot of bridges. I take stuff from everybody. Yep. This is just like how I throw it together. But the deer like to lay on the edges of that thick stuff, and grass is key in my eyes. And when we went to Illinois, I look for grass. I look for CRP. Up north, there's no grass or CRP, but there's like little pockets of marsh grass kind of.
It's all high stem count.
Whatever has the
that's
highest
a term I only
stem
heard
count.
last night on the hunting public. I heard high stem count.
They talk about that all the time.
Yeah. I just hadn't, and now maybe it's Resnick's. I heard 2 days in a row, but I'm thinking okay, so there's a couple of things. I'm playing like the dummy in the room here by and large.
It's an easy term to use.
Okay, there's just a lot of.
It's easy to remember.
Like grass.
But high stem count would be grass. It would be
because there's tons and tons of foliage, tons of grass blades. Popple slashing, high stem count.
Yep.
You have some ferns growing up in there, but tons of trees close together.
Cattails.
Like a mature oak hardwoods, super low stem count. Because if you threw a 10 by 10 box, how many plants are growing up in that spot? Maybe one oak tree. But then the canopy drowns out sunlight, and there's not much under there. They don't bend there. So it's not much cover.
When they do bed, it'll be late at night.
So the reason I talk about this, and we'll get past the thick stuff. I'm sorry. This is how I was learning math, by the way. I'm like the dummy in the room. Like, can you just talk about this more until I get it?
7/8 of a Scotch cup full of 7/8 of a Scotch glass.
There you go. You got an eighth left.
My thought is, okay, now here I am. I'm going to go to this public spot, maybe the one that we went to, and I don't know that you guys are here, and I'm going to try to put this into practice.
Yep.
So I'm going to march my ass to the thickest spot that I think is on there based on the e-scouting I did, and kind of confirm that with boots on the ground. Now, once I get there, cool. Well, now what am I looking for?
Now you're looking on your way into whatever thick spot, and this goes whether you're scouting or whether you're going into hunt. So if you got to stand on your back, great. You're looking for any edge that leads to that, any ridge that leads to that. Where would the deer travel, right? They travel on edges, they travel on ridges, they travel through low spots, anything that's different. They just don't go through the middle of nothing for no reason. They like edges because there's escape, there's, options. Edges create options. I go this way, I go that way. Two different things. So as you're going in there, you're trying to cut off as many edges, ridges, differences in terrain as you enter that thick area, and you're looking for a sign.
You're usually going to find those scrapes from a branch on an edge of a field, or you're going to find that rub on an edge.
Yeah, and as you're going in, hopefully you're covering some terrain as you walk back. If it's a close spot, which sometimes they are, you don't get to cover that much terrain in there. But ideally, you're looking for sign heading back that way, right? You might see a scrape on the way back there. You might see some rubs. Rubs up in the open are great, but that doesn't interest me as much as a rub.
No, because those are made at night when nobody's in there and it's dark and they have everything in their favor.
I mean, deer are driven by their noses, but they're very visible. That's why big signpost rubs are in areas that deer travel through a lot. So lots of deer can see it. Does that mean that deer is going to be there in daylight? Maybe, maybe not. But a rub that's in thick stuff is not for other deer to see. That's where that buck is just killing time until it's dark enough for him to move. That's why I like those clusters of rubs in the thick, because it's not for other deer. It's for that deer to feel safe and to occupy some time and strengthen his neck muscles for fighting for the breeding season. So that's why I like rubs in the thick stuff, because it's not for other deer. It's not a show-off rub, which can be anywhere.
This is interesting because when you guys were talking me through scouting last season on the phone, and you're like, scout your way in, that was like my thesis of last season. And scout for the hot sign, right? And I was like, oh, this is getting warmer. Ooh, and then I was like, they did this like today, or whatever.
Yep.
And the area that I ended up landing on was there where I saw all those bucks, but it was thick in a particular spot. And Greg, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if like 80% of the small, whatever those little trees were rubbed up in there. These are trees that are like
small poplars,
as tall as me, or maybe a touch taller.
Small poplar trees. There might have been a few cedars in there and a handful of willows.
And they were all rubbed up, like all freshly rubbed up. I was like, what is going on here? There was not a lot of rhyme or reason.
They love to rub
suspect
popples.
if that's what was happening. That was maybe a buck.
You were close
that was killing time
to where it lives.
Sure.
And I think a lot of guys, like, I'm glad you said that they were all small. You get in high stem count areas, usually the trees aren't very big.
No, they're
so
tiny.
Plenty of daylight comes in.
Yep.
You're not going to see huge rubs where there aren't huge trees. You only see big rubs where there's big trees. A deer doesn't live where there's big trees. There's not going to be no big rubs, but there'll be lots and lots of little ones, or snapped off ones, or ones that look completely.
Well, that's the height, right?
Yeah, I mean,
most of us know now.
And how's it worked?
Yeah.
Is it snapped in half? If it's the size of your thumb or a little bit bigger and it's snapped in half, that ain't a little buck. If it's completely shredded and there's stuff laying everywhere, that's probably not a younger deer. It's probably an older deer. If there's no big trees to rub, you're not going to see big rubs. So you have to pay attention to how they are and where they are, right?
I know it's a rub because of the way that it is.
The way that it is. No, but really, a lot of times the places that they live, there's no big trees to rub.
No, there isn't. I mean, I've taken you through some of the stuff I have, and there is no big trees.
Yeah.
And the ones that are close, they also have a lot of stuff growing off of them, like tag alders. Not too many bucks are rubbing on tag alders. If they do, that's a tag alder that's got enough room for that buck to get in there.
So when you took me back to your spot where you killed your doe last year, and I was with you, and we went back, and Eric has hunted that area too.
Mm-hmm.
When we went back, I mean, you just naturally did that, but like you kind of knew where we wanted to go, and you were just checking trails as you went in. We were looking for rubs.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking for tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no big trees, look for big tracks, because they're gonna, like, if they walk there, they're gonna leave sign.
Yep.
May not be on trees, but like that just what up north. There's no areas of CRP. There's no areas. Well, there's tag alders, but there's not like willows. So I typically look for larger rubs because there's larger trees more present. It hasn't been logged that much. But, further south you go, you may get in areas where there aren't big trees. So you just find clusters. I mean, we ran into a lot of clusters when we scouted.
Oh, we did.
Where all of a sudden we got back toward that little,
Yep.
remember
that bowl.
It used to be water and
Yep.
then it wasn't. And there was just areas where there was just tons and tons and tons and tons of little rubs. That's a deer that's just standing up out of his bed, scent checking, and ripping up trees, probably in October.
Yep.
Before he moves off to wherever he's going. Now, November's different. A lot of what I talk about is for the majority of season. November's different.
Yeah, throw it all out the window.
November's different. Don't do that in November. But
everything's
for
rolling.
in Wisconsin, when you open September 15 and you're hunting till October 25th, all of that stuff, the majority of season.
And
that's
when you
what
talk
I'm looking
about
for.
Hi Missy, by the way, she got fresh rubs this week.
Holy cow!
And I wonder where Missy is. Kyle said he went scouting today and found endless elk rubs and only a couple from bucks. So he's talking about elk.
That's awesome.
So this concept of they're standing up in their bed, I'm calling it a bed sanctuary because they're like in this
bubble.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a bubble. I'm thinking
bubble.
like a smaller radius, right? Not their bed precisely, but an area of like, I don't know, give 20 feet in circumference around their bed. More fucking algebra and math terms or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's 15
right.
yards. But to that point, then you're saying if you know where that is, you can get to the edge of that and shorten the distance in which that buck is going to travel in daylight. So, Greg, the buck that I missed,
Mm-hmm.
I was on the tail end of where he was traveling from.
Absolutely. And we
because
had that,
by the time I saw him, it was getting like dimmer. Like I was still in legal shooting hours, but not very much. We're talking like maybe a few minutes or something.
Yep.
And so if I would have had better intel, and not to say that you didn't give me better intel,
no, I
but
mean,
if
I didn't.
we could have
I didn't go that deep with trail cameras.
we
to
could have
know
closed our
exactly where
gap
it's coming from
and got
but
closer to his bed, and I could have had maybe, you know, a better shot at him or something, right?
Mhm.
You're kind of like, I'm struggling to find the words to say what I'm trying to say here, but like you're closing the gap.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're raising
and putting
your
time
odds.
on your side.
You're raising your odds.
You're raising your odds.
Okay.
Because a
that's
certain
good too.
percentage of it is absolutely luck.
Yeah,
Because
of
say,
course.
say that buck gets up, right? He's in his little bubble, which, I mean, could be 80 yards from his bed.
Picture that bubble as a spider web. And
Yep.
the middle hole is his bubble, right?
Yep.
That's where the spider sits. That's where the buck lays. You could.
I like this analogy. This is good.
It works. It
It
works,
is.
right?
It's perfect.
So that web has got multiple ways that deer can come out of his bed.
His trails, which you'll scout in the off season, you can
Mhm.
see there's trails
Hub and
going
spoke.
all
Hub
over.
and spoke.
Yep,
Right?
it's a hub and spoke. Same thing.
Yep.
So you're putting yourself in that bigger part of the bubble. You're putting yourself in the outer part of the web. You want to get yourself closer to that middle of that
So you're
web.
gonna, you might actually see him before he takes a path away from you or something.
Right.
You know, you might see him
The
doing
closer
that
you
rubbing
get,
activity.
I mean, maybe you're not quite right where you need to be,
Mhm.
but the closer you are, the better chance you might have of seeing him taking another path.
Which could be kind of an observation at that time.
And which,
So be it.
and which could be random if it was really still.
Mhm.
You know, the direction may be, you know, you're not sure where he's going to go. Otherwise, maybe you know what food source he's going to, or what doe bedding area later in October he's going to go check. Or maybe there's terrain that tells you which way he's going to go based on in the evening when everything's dropping, the temperatures are cooling, thermals are dropping.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a ridge that has something on top he's interested in, oaks. And with those thermals dropping down the ridge, he's going to want to go right up in there and fill his nose with the scent up above so he can see what does are feeding in the acorns and what danger is above him. So, like, the direction he goes out of the web, you can make an educated guess, but it's still a certain percentage of it is we don't freaking know. We're just guessing, right? Like, you make
Right.
your best guess and you set up on it and you hope
But
it works.
that's where scouting. I mean, there's a lot of guys don't like to do in season scout, or maybe they do more. There's more guys doing in season scouting, but even summer scouting, like
Well, that's where the
It's
rubs
still-
come into play, because the rubs they hold some history, right, from last season. and
Absolutely.
yeah,
seasons
they're
past.
historical.
So
So if you're in, I mean, there's times where you don't have a choice. You're looking at what you have, and you're running cameras, and you're going, it ain't here. It's not here right now. Still continue to run those cameras, but maybe go do some more scouting in a new area. Go check it out and see what's there. I mean, what do you have to lose?
right.
You're just stacking the deck in your favor a little bit more by adding another spot.
I'm not sure. Is Dalton would just come in, and I know he's a pretty serious hunter, but I think this is a joke.
I think you might be joking.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
Pretty good chance he's joking.
and this, yeah, and
Got you
Missy is in
good.
Florida, and I know their season opens up soon, like real soon, and it's hotter than balls there. So I don't know. That sounds like
And Missy, I give you credit for even
Ugh.
finding some fresh rubs because I know hunting in Florida is no joke. I know it's very difficult.
Dalton's chasing does already. That's what he's telling you.
You at the bar?
Does.
I think an interesting thing I'd like to bring up is what Adam, a good buddy of mine, did last season. So I just finished up an article for Go Wild about trail cameras and
Okay.
how you should transition them before
the shifting, right?
summer ends.
Okay.
Because a lot of guys, you get your pictures of deer in the summer. They get
Mhm.
all excited. And then the deer shift. And then it's like, oh my God, how am I going to find it? It's gone. It doesn't show up anymore. So
Food sources diminish and change and all that jazz.
absolutely. And when they shed their velvet, they just act different.
Yep.
Testosterone levels go up. They no longer tolerate other deer. So they move out of those areas that are
and you're
filled with
introducing
deer.
some sense of hunting pressure then
So-
too.
So catching up and trying to find them,
Yep.
you're putting your scent in a lot of woods, trying to find them, locate them. So I wrote an article that talks about moving your trail cameras. Like right now, all of my trail cameras are no longer on summer activity at all, even though the deer will be doing that for the next month.
Right.
They're in areas where I anticipate deer going back to those thick areas where I found rubs that have high stem counts. That's where I anticipate them to go once they
So
shed
you don't have to
velvet.
be in there mucking it up right now.
So right now, my scent is
whatever.
dissipating,
Yep.
and I don't think they're in there.
So by the time they do,
once
your
they go
scent
there,
won't be
it's safe.
Mhm.
No one's going in there monkeying, but then I can go in there and check them. I have them outside of those areas, right? Outside of those areas that I would hunt just a little ways on mock scrapes
Mhm.
that I've set up because I know that they'll work them as they go in and out of their bedding area. And I'll be able to check that camera on my way in with stand on my back and say, oh, he is here. Now I go 10 yards further, 15 yards, 20 yards further, set up my stand. Hopefully I'm in place.
And what people don't know that are listening to this, if they hadn't gone to the BHA event, maybe some people listening had, but you had in your presentation what you had believed a deer was reacting to
Absolutely.
when there was human scent introduced to an area, and talk about what had happened.
So that was in northern Wisconsin. I mean, not super far northern, but northern Wisconsin. My dad and I had scouted a spot. There's a wet area that came out of a swamp and it extended up into some pines. Looked really nice, big trail crossing where they cross at the head of it. And we hung a camera. And that was kind of midsummer. We checked it about a month after we hung it, and there was 7 or 8 bucks using that area. It was really good. So he knew I'm going to put a stand here eventually, and once season comes around, I'm going to hunt this. And my mom called me. I thought at first it was my dad that called, but it was my mom calling on my dad's phone, and she said, I'm really worried because my mom and I know Dad is stubborn. He does what he does. Sorry, Dad, throwing you under the bus. But
he listens.
He went in there. Yeah.
So great.
He went in there, and because I talk about this all the time. He went in there and walked around looking for, and I know there's not a good tree because it's a marshy area.
Yep.
But Mom said we walked around so much.
I did this last year because I couldn't find a damn tree.
Site,
this is like,
looking for a stand site. She goes, I know we messed it all up. And they walked around. They finally found a tree that would work. My dad was like, oh, no, it's okay. I found a tree. It's good. The next picture. So then he hunted it. That was like the beginning of season. He hunted it like October 8th or something, like almost a month after season had opened. And there was one deer picture on the camera. It was a whole bunch of pictures of him walking back and forth, looking. And then the next picture was the buck we were hunting, which I think was 8.5 years old. And he walked in. You see him standing there with his head back and his ears forward. All 4 legs are standing completely straight, parallel. And then he's gone, and there's no deer pictures for almost a month. So my theory is he stomped all over that area. They have glands between their hooves. Deer can smell each other individually. And I think that because he was the oldest buck in that area and he had marked that area as unsafe, like he stomped because he smelled my dad, no deer would go through there because they said, holy shit, if he thought this was a bad area, I'm out of there.
So
there was no pictures for like 3.5 weeks of a deer.
Yeah. The fact, so like, this is new information to me also. I did not know. I know that a doe is going to stomp and blow. And I thought that was like a momentary thing. Like, you bitch. Thanks a lot. Like anybody within earshot now knows that something is not right here. Damn it. But you're saying when they stomp their hoof, it's actually putting out some scent that is like loaded up with some stress hormones or something that is literally an alarm scent. So that I didn't know. But
that's why they do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever see a doe stomp on a trail, like early in the hunt, and another doe comes down that trail, watch what happens when they hit that spot. Because they immediately will lock up and put their ears forward and their head back, and they will be on full alert.
Do you remember that 5-point we watched not past that exact spot those does came to when we were out with Anthony?
Yep.
They didn't blow though. They just were cautious.
They were on alert and they were we're not doing this.
But I wonder if they must have had something going on there because that buck did not move a foot past where they were.
To be fair though, too,
and he was young too.
I'm dropping milkweed and it's heading right there towards him and almost hitting him in the face. So it was kind of drifting back and
they hit
forth.
Our scent wall.
So I'd say that combination of stomping and that probably a wall.
Well, that buck got to live another season potentially.
Certainly did.
Maybe a little bit bigger.
But that was like a telling moment because then I showed my dad showed me the pictures. I was like, do you see what I mean when I say don't mess around? And that's when I always told him, when you find a spot, set it up right away. Don't wait to come back to see if it's good.
That's why a lot of people talk about
set it up and assume it's good.
That's why a lot of people talk about killing a deer on the first sit.
People have said that forever, right? Mm-hmm. It's always. Every big deer we ever killed up north was the first time in. Everyone. No exceptions. But up north, they smell you once.
We talk
They don't have
about
to
like
walk
they have
through
a
there.
million places to go.
Yeah, they
you
don't
know?
have to walk.
And
through
maybe
there.
down here they're like, shit. Well, this is the only way through this area.
Yep.
You know, it's a pinch point. I got to get to my food. I got to cross this road. Like,
But it's the
maybe-
same idea, right? Like the less you can mess something up,
Of course.
don't take that chance.
Yep. And on public land, it's hard too because you don't know how many other hunters are back there dicking around in your area, you know, mucking up scent, and that can be going on without you ever being aware if they don't pick up on your trail cam or cell cam.
But that's kind of what's perfect about it, and why it's so cool that we talk about this so everyone else can do it. But like the areas that you want to be in are the hardest areas to like hang a stand and hunt, and most people like to hang stands and hunt in the easiest areas. So when you're getting back on the edge of these thick areas, the fringe where the rubs are, it's usually shitty areas to hunt, like to hang. It's something you've never
really
seen
hard
in a real tree video in
Yeah.
watching 20 years of growing up with watching.
No,
real
when I
tree
shot
and-
this one, I had to turn. I've talked about the story several times, obviously, but I had to turn. I gangstered my bow because the tree I was in, I was one stick high. It's the highest I could get in the tree, but it got me off the ground enough to like, I don't know, not be completely
You
visible.
got above the grass.
I got above the grass, and
but you still had your silhouette covered.
yeah, that was the other thing. And then whatever, there's a branch that the limb of my bow would have struck or hit on my release. And so I turned it sideways. I've never practiced a shot like that in my life. So it's you know, it was a shitty shot and I got lucky hitting that femoral artery, but you know,
Hey, it worked.
that's the kind of shit though. That's not a
That's
typical
where you needed
tree.
to be to
That
get a
that was
buck.
precisely it. And it worked out well. And when it works out well, of course all the pieces fall into place and you're like, it was perfect. Yeah. It probably fucking was if you got the deer, wasn't it? You know, and if all the other times it wasn't perfect, and I can talk about all those.
Better to be lucky than good some days.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes things just work out in your favor. But yeah, putting up in trees that aren't suitable or look kitty wampus or whatever, even that one that I put in when you and I went to that property, Greg, that's not a great tree to put in. That was not like good. But I did have a doe come right through and I got it on video and she never knew I was there. And I was hoping that a buck was chasing her and he wasn't. So
No, he was over in the area.
I think I made the right choice to not shoot that thing.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes along with one of the things you and I have talked about this camouflage. Like a lot of guys don't wear camouflage. I'm not knocking you. I know you like to wear the flannels and whatnot.
Comfortable.
But like when you're in a big tree, it doesn't really matter what the hell you wear.
No.
They're not going to see you if it blends in,
or if you're high enough up too.
or if you're high enough up. But when you're setting up in like smaller trees and like around here, emerald ash board came out, whipped out,
It just
took
crushed
out
everything.
tons of ash trees, which are low,
There are
low
swamps
ground.
everywhere with ash trees just standing dead.
If I hunted an ash tree, which I did a lot of times last
Mhm.
year, like camouflage absolutely matters to me because like if I wear anything solid colored, I look like a blimp up there, even though I'm small.
Right.
So like
small blimp.
I'm a big, like I wear different camo depending on where I'm going every hunt. Like I think about what tree I'm going to set up in and what kind of camo I need to break up my outline. And deer don't typically look at me, so I think it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wear snow camo a lot
It works.
because when they look up, you know, it's sky behind them. They don't see, you know, blue sky as much. It's kind of grayish.
Yeah, you're right.
I wear snow camo a lot and dead ash trees.
Yep.
The tree Greg and I set up in that one time, it was a little dead. I think you were kind of concerned you were gonna break a branch.
Yeah, it was a little sketch.
It was a little dicey. I got a picture of that.
That
tree
was a
on,
cherry tree.
on Waypoint's website. I did an article for those guys and put the picture up of that particular tree.
Yeah,
Is
it was
Greg
a-
in the tree?
I think he was.
Yeah, it was a cherry tree, and it had been wind sheared. So part of it, you know, cherries like to Y. They get so tall and they Y off. Well, that part got wind sheared, and it ripped down the side of the tree.
Where you set up on part of the rip?
Oh, yeah.
Every time Greg
Oh,
talks,
yeah.
I learned something new. I've
Yeah.
never heard the term wind shear.
So I'm like, the base of this tree is pretty large, and like I'm extending the belts on the climbing sticks as far out as they go.
So we had to work with, right?
Yeah, and so I'm hugging this thing and trying to flip it around. Yeah,
It's probably
Try it
getting caught
again.
on every piece
Flip it
of
around.
bark because those cherry trees have all
Bark,
that rough
bark,
bark.
grapevine, all the crap that's growing behind it. Third time's a charm. Yep, and I got it. You know, and so I wrapped it around and got it up there, and
Biting stuff with your teeth.
yeah. So get it all cinched down, get up the tree, and Eric's like, "Wonder what happened to this tree?" I'm like, windstorm. Oh, okay. And it's laying like down below us in the canary grass, and we scurry up the tree and the wind
It's like
picks up.
hollow and
it's
stuff.
like
and I was
hollow. Yeah. It's like,
He's
He's like,
making a whistling noise.
we're
'cause
pretty
it's
high
hollow.
up too.
right.
Ooh, to make it extra eerie.
Yeah.
Might.
Well, because he set up higher than like we set up pretty high in the first
I actually
stand,
went in the-
pushing it.
yeah.
And then he went up. He used my stand or the stand I was using, so your stand,
Yeah.
to go even higher from the Y of the tree. So I was like, man, you're really up there.
But
Some of
I
these
want-
guys that get like 30 feet up in a tree, your shot placement must be really tricky. You're getting
but
this huge
it's
advantage.
all
but I just wonder
situational.
about it. I've never done it. I've never gone that high.
It's situational. Like when I hunted suburban area, killing all those does, that whole area was like a park inside. That 9-acre lot, they manicured that.
Mhm.
They had yellow pines in there, and it was a plantation. So they all grew up, and as they grow, the branches die because they're not getting any.
And
any
they probably had
sunlight.
them trimmed and
They didn't even have to trim them. They
They
just
just
would
died
die and
themselves.
break off. I had 5 of those. I think they were, I don't even know, Farm and Fleet brand 5-step sticks. I had 5 of those up this tree.
otherwise they'd see you.
Well, yeah, I had to get all the way up to where there was green, and it was well over 25 feet of where the sticks and the stand. And I also was limited as to where I could go on that or be on that property. I had to be so many yards from an occupied building, and there was a bunch of stuff to go through with it. But anyway, way up there, I missed one buck twice in one day. The first time because I misjudged it because I was so high.
There you go.
The angle,
Yeah.
I whistled it right over his back. The second time, I took a shot at him in the evening that same day. He was coming back from
What a
the
dumb
area.
buck.
Well, he was the bully buck. He was kicking everything out of that lot anytime he saw another deer in there. And he come traipsing by just out of range. I ranged it like 38, and I just held it on there, and I still shot just a tad low, and he boogied out. But when you're up high, some distances they look closer, and some distances they look further away.
You're getting a bunch of benefit of like scent free and blah blah blah. And
It helps
out of
with scent,
sight.
but it makes the shot angle
But the
harder.
shot
Yep.
would be hard, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
I
And
don't know.
and typically what happens is, right, like the closer a deer is in your stand or the higher you are, you typically shoot over them.
Yeah, and I shot a lot of deer high.
I shot the one that I missed high,
Mhm.
It's
and I was ranged precisely where I needed to be, but I just shot high. So I
it
probably
happens
just
a lot
anchored
if you
poorly or
practice
something.
shooting on the ground
Mhm.
and not
Yep.
from a stand.
Not from a stand.
I will never forget. We just shot that BHA, the course, Horicon Marsh Bowman. We got to the last stand right by you guys. You were
Right.
taking
Yep.
pictures,
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
right.
had one really, really close. I don't remember if it was a fox or a deer target, but I did the old, remember to bend at the waist. And I just will never forget my dad saying, if they're close, you aim low, aim at the
Yep.
bottom of their belly.
Yep.
And I aimed at the bottom of the belly, hit it mid body. Perfect. I made a good shot because my dad was telling me in my ear what to do, And then the gentleman we were shooting with shot top, almost missed it, right through the top. He goes, I forgot to aim low. I was like, there you go. You just said what I was thinking. I said, my dad, he was whispering in my ear,
Mm-hmm.
aim low when they're close because that angle will
Absolutely.
mess you up.
Yep.
That's unfortunate for me. I practiced out of my stand quite a bit after that,
That's good.
and I went and bought a rangefinder. But the
Very
rangefinders,
helpful.
they compensate, don't they, for the angle?
Most of them do these days. Yes.
So then, what do you do with that information?
It's
just-
giving you a true reading.
So then, do you
It says 31 yards.
do you
shoot
put your
for
pin at 31 yards and shoot 31 yards?
I'm talking like at any distance over 20 yards,
Yeah.
over
Regardless if
15
you're-
yards, aim where you aim.
If the target is,
But if they're
is
close,
this
if
deep,
they're 5 yards from your tree,
Got it.
you need to aim low. Because think about the flight of an arrow. It's not flat. It
No.
goes up slightly and comes
Sure.
down.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
the closer they are, the higher your arrow is.
Mhm.
When you're aiming down, you're shooting over their back every time.
it's not
So you
coming
need to
down on a
aim low.
trajectory yet.
When they're at 5 yards, your
okay,
arrow's
yeah.
barely doing anything. Gravity's helping it.
Oh, now we're doing physics, you guys. What is
Yeah.
going on?
7/8 of a scotch. Let's go.
Yep. There- come on, pop that top.
Who wants to
You
call in
ready?
and do some math
Oh, I
with
got
us?
one.
The number's on the screen: 262-757-4122.
You tired of talking to us already?
No, I just figured I'd open up.
Okay, I'll talk about this weekend. So interesting thing about this weekend.
By the way, hi Levi. Hi Stephanie. Good to see you guys.
we
in
haven't
here.
heard who's our buddy down in Illinois.
Stephen Lee.
Oh, Stefan, my bad. Sorry. That's.
Well, we just lost a follower. Way to
No.
go, dumbass.
I thought there was. Oh yeah, Stefan Lee. Okay, sorry.
Um,
The Lee threw me off.
So I was down in Illinois this past weekend. I dragged my dad down there, and I was down there with my buddy Bo, and we were setting up stuff for this fall because my dad and I are going down there doing public land Illinois, like Greg and I did, except we got a property that you have to apply to hunt.
And he's bringing a real killer with him this time.
Dad might be a real killer this year because he is set up beautifully.
Cool.
I'm really excited about his setup, but I think it's worth talking about based on what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, go for it.
So we had scouted this spring. My parents and I, that's my mom, who's the shed hound, who ended up finding no sheds, which is unbelievable when we were in Illinois.
Did you dethrone her?
This year, yeah.
Wow.
Big time.
She
Like
had to be a little
17-0.
upset about that.
She doesn't want to talk about it.
Can we push this button and tell her?
Mom, if you're listening, call
Go ahead,
her.
Derek. Push that button right there.
This one?
Yep.
Okayest Hunter.
Not everybody can be great, Mom. No, she wipes the floor with me.
Yeah.
Usually when it comes to
This
places
is her
that,
off here. You're going to pay for it next year.
Yeah. But we scouted some areas and we found this huge creek bottom that opened up to grass, high stem count, willows. I mean, it was beautiful. Everything we look for. But this is the part that I don't know when you go to other states. Because I feel like northern Wisconsin hunter, you go to another state, what do? You look for the thickest, nastiest crap.
Yep.
And then where are the deer? They're just like walking across a cut cornfield. Like they're, you know what I mean? So like sometimes like we way overthink it. But I found this spot and I was like, Dad, come down here. I want to show you this. And he really liked it. There's 2 creeks that meet and there's 2 big ridges that dump into this bottom.
Beautiful.
And the creek runs between them. And then there's like a whole bunch of bedding out in this grassy area. It was all willows. I mean, hundreds of rubs. The little ones we talked.
High stem count.
And then there's a giant
Nice,
scrape
there we
line
go.
running along the big river and then trails that follow this little creek. So I was like, naturally, this is a spot I'm interested in. We know when we're going to be down there. We're going to be down there October 29th through November 4th. You only get 1 week as a non-resident to hunt this property. So we know, which is
you
good.
got it right this time, right? Like, you can hunt it and
You can hunt it. We're good.
Yeah, it's an inside joke.
Anyone who's hunted Illinois as a non-resident, maybe you understand the strife. But yeah, this is my fault. Not good.
Whatever, man. We had an adventure. It was good.
But knowing when you're going to be down, there's obviously a huge difference because we went down there this last weekend and we went into that creek bottom and it obviously looks a little bit different because everything is
it's all
huge. It's hard to get through. You can't see trails because the trails aren't there yet because they're not in that stuff quite yet.
Not yet.
They're bedding up by the fields, right on the field edges. And we saw that when we walked in there.
I've been seeing that on my ride home. I see deer literally laying in fields. I'm like, what is this?
Well, the bugs get so bad, right? Like they want to go out in the open where there's a breeze and like. So we went down there. I dragged my buddy Bo because I was like, I want your insight. He's hunted down there forever, and we started looking at the tree I had originally.
Ghost bucks?
Yep, Ghost Bucks. If you haven't checked out Ghost Bucks, go check out Ghost Bucks. Bo runs a great channel over there. But we went down there, and the tree I originally picked out, we looked at it, and we're like, let's just do another complete walk around. We're in here. Let's just walk everywhere.
If you're gonna stink it up right.
Stink it up right, and figure it out one time in, right?
Yep,
like
one
time in. So we walked into the bedding stuff. I showed him the bedding stuff.
The public was talking about in there.
Exactly.
Episode, yep.
And we looked at everything, and Bo actually picked the tree, but we're like, we know we got to be at the corner. I was out like along this edge that a bunch of them ran this little creek, but there was the big river and the creek met it. And there was a huge scrape line along the big river. There was trails that went by that middle of the creek, but we all agreed that we needed to be right where that little creek dumped into the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And it never works out where there's a perfect tree. There's a freaking huge white oak right 15 yards from the corner.
So you got a candy store right there.
And then it's like a weird peninsula.
Right by
There's
the
like the land forms a peninsula between the little creek and the big river. And none of the deer go on there because the peninsula is a straight drop off.
Right.
So they all cross before that right by this big white oak tree. It's beautiful.
Did you hang cams?
What's that? No cameras.
Okay.
We're not doing any cameras, which I'm
telling you right
about.
now,
I'm super excited about no cameras.
Remember how tight I had cameras hung last year? I'm staying out of there. Not even doing it.
It's going to be way better, I think.
I know it's going to be way better.
So we scattered it all. We picked the tree. We got it set up for him. I got a tack in it. You can walk the creek, the little creek, for 300 yards. So he'll be out of sight of everything in there. It drops down 8 or 9 feet. He'll be out of sight. He knows where to go. We got it all figured out. I am so excited for him because it's about 150 yards away from the buck bedding that we talked about. All those rubs in the willows. But the thing is, the end of October, beginning of November, those bucks are looking for does. So if he gets in there in the morning from the direction he's going to, they're going to run those creek bottoms. Any kind of northwest wind is what he needs to hunt that. But any kind of northwest wind, they're going to run around the bottom of those creeks to smell that huge CRP area because that's where all the does bed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to run that downwind edge right past, hopefully, my dad. Hopefully, he freaking smoked one.
Dude,
I'm so excited. He
cool.
loved it. Like he's like, oh, that tree's going to be perfect. He was real excited. I think
we'll have to do a follow up.
I think
we'll
it's the best
remember to
that
talk about this.
Yeah,
in October.
It's really good.
We have a lot. There's gonna be a lot of activity.
So it's not right on like everything we talked about in the beginning. It's not right on the edge. Nope, we're hunting travel because it's a great.
Based on the time frame,
that's the time to hunt travel.
That's why I said like in November, throw this all out the window because it doesn't matter where the buck's bed. Nope, not at all. You should be hunting wherever the does are.
Well, my dad was spot on with the area I was hunting last year. In addition to a lot of the stuff, but he's like, this is probably a cruising area. Come right, and like it was like end of October, the trail cam started popping off. I was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I thought that was the case, and I was getting input from a lot of folks, right? Like you guys and my dad. Well, that's 3, so but at least you and my dad have context of the land, and we'll see if you end up. There's only 2 properties that they're awarding, so we'll see what happens. Won't be many. Yeah, if you get it, I'll be really excited for you. It's fun. And if I do, it's nice because proximity-wise, it's close, and then it's a little bit less pressure. If it's policed properly. Otherwise, honestly, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing this season. I have no idea where I'm hunting. I have no idea. I have no bucks, nothing. So usually, what happens in the last 2 years, and I just drive out to Greg's, and I mess up his shit.
Yeah, we've met.
Did you tell him yet?
But I want to get Greg down here tomorrow, but Greg doesn't want to leave his hunting hole, but he's got a thumper he's chasing. Or something.
Did you tell him what we're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna have some time where we all have time off.
Is that right?
Wink, we're gonna take at least a day.
It's gonna be at least a day. If we can squeeze 2, we'll try.
You're gonna get the rookie on a buck?
Well,
we're gonna go to the property we all scouted together.
We're gonna go do
that's
that.
Right. Yeah.
And you get first pick where you want to hunt.
There's enough room for probably 6 guys to hunt that.
Well, thanks.
Us 3 are gonna
part of. Did I know this, guys? No, I have no clue.
I think we talked about it.
We talked about it
on the way to the truck last podcast.
Months ago.
I said, Greg, here's what we should do. You took us out scouting. I said, let's put that to use.
Yeah.
We should all go out there together.
I was in 100% agreement.
We all scouted
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, we said we're gonna go out there depending on the day, the time of year, whatever the wind's doing. Eric's gonna get first pick.
Yep, you get first pick.
You pick wherever you want to sit.
Even if
we'll all talk about it.
Even if we got to sit the ditch where you fell in. I mean,
that would be great. Wait,
I'll sit the ditch when he comes back in. Yeah. I want to film that.
Oh, dude, guys, we got a caller. It's Stefan.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Stefan, you're live on the podcast. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. I'm famous.
Hey,
I don't know. You might want to don't count your chickens yet.
Yeah.
You got to remember which podcast.
I'm on my first ever podcast.
All right.
Hey, that's awesome.
Welcome to the show. And sorry for botching the name there. You can blame me for that 100%.
It's all good. I get it all the time. Just don't call me late for supper.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Where are you calling from? Where are you out of?
I'm from Caldwell, Ohio. It's southeast Ohio.
Cool.
Excellent, man.
Long
good to
time
have
listener,
you.
first time caller. Have you been listening for a little bit?
Yes. Yep. Actually, this is probably, 6th or 7th podcast I started. I was just searching hunting podcasts. You guys came up. I started following you, and of course, had to get online, buy a bunch of okayest hunter gear, and
cool.
here I am.
Awesome.
That a boy.
Rock on. Yeah, we just launched some new hoodies this morning, by the way.
Oh, I didn't even see those.
Yeah. I had no time to even promote it, but they're out there.
Cool.
So whatever. Anyway, yeah. What's up, man? So you're in Ohio. When is your guys' season open up?
End of September, 25th, I believe. September 25th.
They're usually a week after us.
Okay. Probably not terrible, by the way, because mosquitoes.
Nope, no, not too bad. Plenty of sweat.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you got to get that sweat.
Swamp ass and sweaty balls. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, I wish I went in and you said go in and stink it up right. I did that this past weekend.
Nice.
And actually, with the help of some Spartan Forge we figured out there was probably 10 acres of our property we've never been using. We just always assumed when I was a kid, okay, this is where the property line is. And went up in there, and exactly what you described, a bunch of pine trees, and they're all dead up to the top. And I think I might have to climb to the top of one of them and see if I can smack something.
So, I mean,
that's gonna be the biggest testimony for Spartan Forge I've ever heard. We discovered we had 10 more acres.
I feel like that happens more often than you think. Or people, you know what I mean? Like you just assume, like family. You know, this is my land. This is where the fence is, and it's always a little bit different.
Yep.
But what you just described, Stefan, is like the ideal situation, because on any property, what do you want to do? You want to think about, where do people never bother?
Yeah.
And if somebody thinks that's your property and you think it's their property,
nobody's going.
That's a sanctuary. Cash in on that, man.
Yep. No.
Yes. My buddy said it's like getting 10 acres free.
Certainly.
Someone else is about to get pissed because they're like, damn it, he finally figured it out.
I would go up there.
Exactly.
I would start climbing up that tree and tossing milkweed and see what happens. You'd be surprised how much, like 5 feet of difference makes that milkweed carry different.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Because now you're above the canopy, getting a different stream of air.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And they're both rich top.
Nice.
So.
They're really high up then.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ohio's not too dissimilar. Like, it's still Midwest. So I got to imagine y'all have similar. I mean, I'm sure the regulations are different and that kind of stuff.
Do you run cameras in the summertime?
Actually, I finally got them out. I think that's another thing you guys comment on, how family got to focus on family. Well, I finally got where I can get out in the woods and traipse around, and hung up 3 cameras, but I had an okayest hunter moment. The one camera I've had out there, the cell cam, went out. It's got the bike lock on it. I brought the wrong keys.
So I can't tell you how many times that happened.
I thought about cutting the bike lock off, but I said, I'll wait and just bring back the batteries another time.
Yeah. Us guys, it's like, you want to carry all the groceries on your first trip. So you're like cutting circulation off to your fingers and your wrists. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be, gosh darn, you have to go back a second time. So I would have cut it, because I would have been like,
I need it.
Damn it. I'm not going to go back again. Yeah. But that's me.
But those Python locks, they're not very cheap.
No, they're getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
I suppose we could all use the extra steps as I take a sip on a beer. So why not? You got to keep working on that deer camp bod. You got to get back out there, sweat out some more deposits onto the land. No, that's awesome. And cool to hear you got some swag, man. That's great. How fun is that? And it sounds like maybe you even submitted an okayest hunter moment because you're familiar with the term. This is awesome. We're happy to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. Then I had another okayest hunter moment that time. I finally said, I'm going to go out, fill the feeder, and instead of using a ratchet, I'm going to take my impact, and I'm going to just go up there, be done. Well, had the battery on the charger, put it on there before I left the house, got out in the woods. Battery wasn't in the truck, but I brought the ratchet as backup.
Yeah.
So I'm enough of an okayest hunter. I've learned to prepare for when I screw up.
We got to make a list.
That's impressive.
You need more stickers than just I forgot my release or don't forget your release. Probably need like a couple other ones, but
it's like I own 4 releases just for when I forget my releases.
Right.
The types of things you forget though, like I'll get a snack.
A backup
I'm like,
for the backup of the backup.
I can't wait to eat this snack when I get there. I'm like, I'm looking forward to the snack more than I'm on the deer hunt. Right at this point, I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And I'm like, damn it, it's on my truck dash. I forgot my snack and now I'm hungry and I can't eat it. Like that's happened.
That always happens.
And you're twice as hungry because you've been thinking about it.
Well, yeah, that's just it. I'm perseverating on the food. And I'm like, now I'm looking forward to it. I'm up here. I'm all good to go. Go to reach for the snack. It's not there. Now I'm eating weird stuff like Derek is, spitting it out.
Hey, no, that's good stuff. It's organic, right?
Pine cones.
No pesticides.
That's fine.
Tamarack pine cone. No, but Stefan, my dad does it all the time. And I've done it too. Like we went to check a camera this summer on the National Forest up north, and my dad's got the Python locks. I'm like, hey, this one's locked. You got the key? And he's like, yeah, I do. It's in the pocket of my shorts that are in the truck a mile from where we just left. Oh, all righty. This one will wait.
Yeah.
It happens.
Next time I go out, if I don't grab the right keys, I'm bringing the master lock, which is the bolt cutters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the master lock.
The master.
That'll open
master
anything.
lock picker.
So do you have to worry about theft on private? Is that on private?
It is on private, but I've just always been paranoid. When I was a kid, I had a couple of them stolen, and obviously save up all that money and get one, and then have someone walk away with it. Well, now you go into cell cams, and but at least you can kind of sometimes, they say, track them if someone takes them.
Right.
But why track them if you don't have to, right? That's a good idea. Lock them up if you're worried about
Locks keep
Exactly.
an honest man honest for so long.
Yeah. So I did, I had another cell cam that I still wanted to put over that spot. And so I did took out a climbing stick, went up so far, put it up in the tree, and then climbed back down. Because not too many people is walking around with one of them if they want to steal something.
No.
Exactly. No, that's a good idea. To the tune of that little ditty you just played, when I was in Illinois this weekend, we got to go on my buddy's. He's got a big lease that he hunts. Really, really nice lease. Right behind, they got a cabin there. The guy who owns the cabin's a local guy, and he's a cousin of his. So he comes there fairly often, but the neighbor is an outfitter who used to lease the property and did some really sketchy stuff. Forged a dead lady's signature to say that they had it for a long time, the lease. And I mean, it was really bad, but there's still some bad blood there. And we went around checking cameras, and some of their cameras were wide open, SD cards out, cameras off, on cameras that obviously no one would walk away from a camera, leaving the door open with the card out and the camera off. And then when we were coming down the road, those same guys were flying drones over their property. And they got in the car as soon as we turned the corner, and they took off speeding away. So I was like, dude, it's way less stress hunting public. We went and hunted public all day, scouted public, and it was like,
you run into the people you talk with them.
Yeah, everyone was real nice. All the assholes are on the private. So I know what you mean. Just because it's private, people still get.
I had a camera lifted from private. I mean, people had no business even being there. It was in the middle of 200 acres, and
well, that's it. Then they're like, oh, now I'm gonna
that's
get
why
caught.
they take it, right? Because they got
try to destroy the evidence.
They walked by it.
Yeah.
That's why those cards were gone
that
from those
criminal.
cameras. Yep.
That criminal mentality, or that bad actor. Oh, I got caught. Now I'm
though.
caught, so I got to deal with this. I'll do whatever I can to get this camera out of here now. Totally different paradigm. Public, you wave at it, you move them, you flash them, you little,
doesn't matter.
Whatever you got to do.
You flashing them?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, my flashlight. I mean, what are you thinking about?
You had a different smirk. It didn't say flashlight on it.
Full moon.
yeah.
And Derek's going to weird places here.
It's that IPA.
I had a weird picture this last fall. I'm wondering now.
Oh,
was
boy.
Clark tracking me
Not a
down?
mushroom.
He was.
I got a mushroom growing on my cam.
What?
Just sprouted right up.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we're getting weird. Sorry about that.
He's not sorry, Stephen.
No, there's no shame there.
Well, you're gonna have to keep us posted on how you do this season, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd love to hear
man.
about it. Call back in.
Call
Thanks
back.
Sure will.
Thanks
Share
for-
your
good
story.
talking
On
We
the
with you.
appreciate
Shooter
it.
Book Club. You bet.
That's fun. It's always fun to get a caller.
A new caller.
Heck
But
yeah.
it's good to get our regulars too.
Yeah. Well, like
Regulars.
freshish listener said, what, 6-7 episodes in or something like that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even though I said his name wrong, he still loves us. So that's nice.
That's cool.
The best thing about this podcast, what you've developed here, is like he wasn't afraid to say what he messed up on.
Yeah,
Okay,
come as you
like-
are. And,
Right? Like we all
yeah.
do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's the kind of stuff that I think is relatable that we all, damn it. It's that moment when you shut the door and you realize you locked your keys in the house. You're like, God,
Everyone experiences it.
Yep. Sometimes that separation is
Now
not
you just
2
learn to
seconds.
have the hide a key hiding somewhere.
Yeah, this is how you
It's
get
fun.
better. You make these mistakes and you go, now I brought a backup. Now I have 4 of these things. And you make it harder. You have to defend yourself against yourself.
Mhm.
You're your own worst enemy,
At
God, I'm an
times.
idiot. I have to really fight this asshole.
This guy's gonna fuck something up.
He's got me at every turn. Every time I think I got him outsmarted, he does something stupider.
Hey, ultimate okay Santa Monica when we went to Illinois last year.
Oh yeah.
Can't hunt the property.
Oh wait, we can't shoot bucks here.
Yeah. And he had deer in sight. He's
Let's
like,
just think about this for a second.
I'm
Oh,
getting
wait.
live feed messages
The
in the morning.
ultimate,
You can't
okay
shoot a buck.
Thunder moment.
Yeah.
We can't shoot bucks here until we shoot doves. We can't hunt here until November.
It's literally
1st.
a T-zone until November 1st. Are you
What date?
shitting
What
me?
date were you there on?
October 28th.
Well, we knew about the November 1st properties because in other states that's a thing.
Yeah.
You can't hunt properties until November 1st. Are you joking me?
Yeah.
Public.
But it's
So I learned
virgin
that
then,
the
which is
first year.
nice.
the second year was CWD properties,
Mhm.
and
When we were clearly in CWD properties,
We were in a CWD property.
We didn't realize it, but here it is. So doe only up until
There's like state
November
parks
1st.
here in Wisconsin though, where you can't. They don't open up for bow hunting the week before gun.
and
Those
Ice Age properties don't open up until November 15th to hunt.
And
If
even
they're
the
open.
conservative
If they're
properties that we've
open.
talked about,
Yeah.
you're not actually supposed to shoot a buck until you shoot a doe first. It is doe first. So
I did
don't-
read that on the website.
yep. So it's kind of like, would you shoot a doe? Well, let's talk about it because I had to. Okay. Well,
right,
that's
the
not a
hunt
thing here.
critic.
Well, it is on this freaking property if I'm following the rules, you a-hole. Okay. So I did. I shot a doe first. That's when this whole thing started. That's when I got shamed. Bullshit. Year my daughter was born. I'll never forget it.
It's terrible.
But you know, look where we are. Yeah, you turn something negative into a positive. Voila.
Look at that.
Eating
I'm like a
tomorrow's
magician.
trophy today.
Yeah. Thanks a
Shooter
lot, John.
buck.
John Selflew for cooking that buck for us.
Yeah,
last
buddy.
week.
While we were with Bo this weekend, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, guy's killed more big deer than I'll ever kill in my life. He's wearing this little antler around
Oh,
everywhere
nice.
we go.
That's awesome.
I said, Bo, I love that you wear that, but it just doesn't fit what in the hell you're doing here. Because we're checking cameras. I ain't seen one of those.
I was talking to
So
someone.
we're checking cameras. I'm seeing 150.
No shit.
We should make him a new
He's
hat.
like, "Yeah, I like it. I like it. So
Well, we could make this antler really big, and it could
No,
be
I like
you
it
know,
little.
150
I like
inches worth.
I like
the
it
one.
little.
Yeah, I like a little.
I mean, if you want to like come up with a consolation prize hat, you could add like a brow tine or something. in
Oh,
there.
hey,
make,
there.
it make it a 3-pointer.
there you go.
Maybe for the bow hunting league. You can do.
Yeah, bow hunting league. Those are our bow hunting league hats.
Well, we offered to give them prizes for the people that get the smallest box.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I hope that they
double-ended.
do something with
yeah.
that. That'd be cool.
I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I was talking to someone at work today about like, what if you get a really big buck? I'm like, well, that's going to be very ironic. That the OKS
and we're
hunter
gonna
It's gonna be
shoots
awesome.
giant bucks.
It's gonna be
But
awesome.
it'd just be funny, you know. And I'm like, with my tag's my hunt, and we've all talked about. Of course, I want to shoot a big buck.
Who doesn't
but-
want to shoot a big buck?
But could you just imagine the press? Okay, hunter shoots monster buck. It'll be funny. I mean, it'll just be funny. It's literally irony, you know.
Mhm.
It's bound
No,
to happen
that-
one of these
but-
years.
But like, what are you gonna do? Pass it? Because you.
Well, that's just it. No,
Like,
yeah,
fuck
no, no.
Of course
I'm not
not.
gonna pass it.
I'm not going to pass much of anything. I barely passed on that 5-pointer. If you would have come by that one year,
Oh,
I
you would have gotten whacked.
I was like really hot to trot on it.
I went to Deer Fest.
I did too.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about this. But like, I talked to a couple of people. I shouldn't say a bunch. I talked to a couple of people. Everyone is very interested in seeing video.
hmm
Specifically, you
Doing what exactly?
shooting a forkhorn, shooting a 6-pointer, shooting a spike.
Sure.
Everyone's like, man, it's such a cool brand. I love what you guys stand for, but like, we want to see something. Like, I want to see a video
there
of
it
Eric
is. It's not
hunting
shooting a
season.
There it
forkhorn.
is. We need to have a YouTube channel.
And I was like, I agree.
Yes.
I want to see that
it
too.
almost happened once.
I want to see you.
Well, because it was funny because we were
Can
like,
we make this
I think I
happen?
kind of like I almost don't get a pass on any buck, do I? Like,
No, you get to do what
gotta
you
start
want. It's
living
your
up to
tag.
your reputation.
No, it's your tag. It's your hunt.
but I've branded myself with a bit of a curse now. It seems.
Yeah, you did.
So, but to that
This is
point,
the year
I,
hey,
No,
well,
you're
yeah, I
only
filmed
year
last
to
year. I
break-
shot a
this is
doe
the
and I
year to
fucking
break the
didn't get it.
curse.
You know?
you're only shamed if you pass 3 bucks before you shoot a big buck.
There we go. Yeah.
If a big buck comes out, you shoot it.
But to that, I've been trying to self film. I brought my GoPro. I'm bringing my phone. I am filming. Actually filmed every hunt last season.
That's
But
pretty
no
good.
one gives a shit to watch anything if you're not killing a deer. And I would have had a hell of a video leading into that 140 I effed up on, you know. And I almost had him with the GoPro mounted on my bow, you know, and like that would have
So,
been a really cool
Sounds
thing.
like a
Ba-
perfect OKS hunter video.
Exactly.
Backstory to that buck. I had that.
Which
that
buck are you talking about?
we called him Pancake.
Oh, that's a different one. I'm talking about the one last year that I
Oh,
missed because you were
right.
texting me.
Pancake
The
was
one
a
when you were
130
on that little tree
Yeah.
line?
Yeah, Pancake was a 130 that you whiffed on.
Yeah, that's the one where the angle is wrong, I guess, right?
Shoot
Your
over
angle
him?
was wrong.
I shot over it. Yeah, my angle's wrong. Right, I
Mhm.
shot over the back. We literally just talked about this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Pancake was like
Fucked it up.
big time. Like Pancake presented the shot,
I drew
and
back.
Pancake was an 8-pointer that would have been a 10 if those crab claws would have,
Yep.
been a little bit longer. So we counted him as an 8. I had him all over the camera. I had him with the wide 12. I had him with that
big guy?
Oh yeah, I had him with the big guy.
For those of you that don't know, the wide 12 is
Yeah.
Do we call that thing wide load? Is that the name?
Yeah, his
wide
name's
load,
Wide
heavy.
Load.
That thing is a tank.
Yeah.
And he lives.
He still lives. He lives.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Those who know won't listen to this anyway, which is fine because they're elite. They're better than us.
Oh, we have
It's all
another
good.
podcast called the Elitist Center
I see what you
podcast.
did there. I see what you did there.
Wink, wink. Again,
Shots.
we're safe. It's fine. They're not listening. Anyway, Derek's gonna launch his beer.
Dude, that was the best. I hope you
Anyway,
can chase him.
yeah. Well, yeah. Whatever. Anyway,
How you talking about pancake? Let's get back to the pancake.
Yeah,
to
so,
serve,
so
okay?
pancake got pancaked on the road, chasing some tail. October 31st.
It's like a fucking comedian punch.
Yeah.
Like, got pancake on the road, chasing some tail.
Yeah,
Go on.
Did you just stiff talk a dead body?
totally. Somebody went over there, cut him off cut his antlers off with a
Jesus Christ,
sawzall
did
and
what?
That
everything.
was me.
No, it's fine. You got a set of rattlers.
Pancakes in my basement.
Yeah, got a rattler. But he whiffed on Pancake, and Pancake was all over. Like he was front.
And I didn't have that videoed at all. That was before I was
Every
doing any of that
camera.
stuff. But we were doing a lot with Byron.
Maybe I'll give you a video clip off of one of my trail cameras of Pancake.
Yeah.
You can post it later.
the other one I missed. But I got this guy the next weweek or 2 weeks after or something.
It was a week after.
I shot
yeah.
him on election day, November.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not watching this shit. Anywho,
It's hotter than hell.
That was a
it
good
was
year.
hot. I
That
was
a good
sweating,
year.
and some guy was like, "Oh, if you weren't sweating, you would have." I'm like, "By the way, dude, I got the deer." Okay, and I was sweating because I basically ran out there to get there before last light, and it was
Mhm.
like a total hail mary. I wasn't even supposed to go hunting that day. My
So
wife
did
was
you
so
run
pissed.
out,
So-
hang a stand,
So here's
and
from,
shoot that?
from my
Yeah.
point of
That's
view
freaking
perspective
awesome.
here, how this story went. I get a text
You
message.
didn't even
Dude,
know I was
I'm
hunting.
going out.
Or did you?
No,
Yeah.
you told me
The wind
You
was right for that spot.
You messaged me, dude. I'm going out. Wind's right. Everything's perfect.
But time out. I only learned about that property
I've been on
that
Spartan
day.
Forge, and everything's perfect. I'm like, okay, he's app hunting. Great. Good luck.
What can go wrong?
Yeah, what can go wrong?
Nothing.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Hour
You know what? Expectations out the window. Doesn't matter. I'm going hunting.
Hold on. What's the date?
Today?
November.
That was November 5th.
He said
November
November.
5th.
If it's November, I don't give a fuck.
No.
You did the right thing.
Yeah. So November 5th. It was hotter than hell. He messages me. I'm going. Okay. I'm still at work. He messages me at like 3:30. I had an hour to go. I get done with work.
4:28 p.m. or something.
Yeah, I'm not even done with work. I'm on the phone with somebody and he's calling me. I'm like, the hell's he calling me for?
He fell out of tree stand.
Yeah, I'm like, this can't be
Yeah,
good.
he didn't answer. I was like, the fuck?
So
No one's
I
answering. My
couldn't-
dad
so I
didn't answer.
literally-
Greg didn't answer. I'm like,
Everyone is trailing me.
Yeah.
so pissed.
I'm on the phone with a contractor trying to talk him through a product issue that because
Called
he
like
doesn't
3
know how
times
to
in a
wire.
row. No answer.
He
This is
calls me 3
bullshit.
times. I'm like, what's up? He's like, dude, I got one. I'm
I
like,
even called my buddy I was hunting with, and he didn't pick up. I was like,
come on.
Everyone hates me.
So I get done off the phone with this guy, going 20 minutes past closing time for work. I try
Devoted.
calling Eric. He doesn't answer. I'm like, fucker. He ghosted me. He tells me he's got one, and this is all I get. So I call him again. Doesn't answer. Finally, he calls me back. All out of breath. I can tell he's sweating like a child. And over the phone.
I mean, I sweat
Yeah.
more than a child does.
I sweat like myself, and this is bad.
Dude, I got one. Okay. It fucking died over here. Cool. And he tells me the whole story about how he got it. I'm like, you are the luckiest son of a bitch I know.
Is it in one of the spots? Is it the pancake spot?
No.
This
Totally
it's
different spot.
I went on my own.
Different property.
Never hunted
Dude,
the
I
property in my
never
life.
even heard this
He
story.
just-
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's
dude.
funny.
So he goes, he's like, I'm going to just, out of the blue, I'm going to this spot. Okay. He shows me on the map.
Salute
I'm like,
that.
okay, sweet. Give her help, brother. I hope you get something.
My buddy Joel's like, hey, this spot is public. Here's the municipality regulations that state that is public.
Which a lot
I've
of people
never
know
been
about.
there before.
And
I
now,
didn't know.
After he shot that deer, even more people knew about it.
Yeah, so like someone
don't
had
go over
texted
there
me and said, I know that tree. I know where you were. I'm like, well, next
Cool.
time I need to do a better job of like concealing.
So
no, just
so-
be happy.
but it
you
was
shot a
over.
deer.
one,
you shot a deer.
a certain person associated with another person that we know.
I know the person
mutually.
you're associating this person
Yes.
with. I think I know this
Yes,
person.
yes, I think so. Very good chance. I get a text message like legitimately after he posted the picture of himself holding that buck. I know where that is. Blah blah blah.
Wait,
I'm
hold
like,
on. Did said person ever kill a deer out of that tree?
No, negative.
Then what the hell is their problem?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But I think they were
Again,
maybe
they're not listening.
I don't think a
so-
lot of people knew that this was like public property. They was concerned that it was private. And the last thing I'll ever do is poach. So I had like documents of this
Dude,
is public.
if I
So
know
whatever.
one
It was
thing,
like a.
if I know one thing about you, it's that you are gonna make sure all the
It's all legal and legit.
All
Yeah,
the
my neighbor's
I's are
like, hey, you
dotted,
can
the
hunt
T's
this
are
golf
crossed.
course back here that's been abandoned. There's bucks. I'm like, no, I can't.
No, you can't.
You know, not a chance, man.
and
Go for
yeah,
it.
I've
like
been out
last
there a
time we
couple
cruised,
times. It's not worth
and
it.
last time we cruised past, he's like, dude, look at that. Like in between the houses, through the backyard, side yard, there's a buck and a doe and another buck. We go around. Yep, there it is over there from a different view. Oh, look, there's another one over there. Like in between the houses, you can see deer all over the place.
But
Can
let's
you hunt
use-
them? No.
Let's use that as a tiny segue to like anyone who's listening who hunts in November. Do what Eric did. No, I'm not kidding.
No,
Okay.
pick the most randomest spot
No,
you
yeah,
can
sure.
find.
No, don't pick the. But like, if you have 50
Sign.
minutes, if you have
Yeah.
30 minutes to
Yes,
hunt in
that's what it was,
November
yeah.
after work,
Even better.
go somewhere
Yep.
and just sit somewhere because you never know.
You
in
don't.
November, just go.
It could be a
If you can be in the woods,
shooter buck.
be in the woods.
It could be a giant. You never know.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not
they're bigger deer
diminishing what
running
you
around,
did.
but this is the first one that I was like,
Dude,
I
I'm
missed
not-
one a couple weeks ago. I had to redeem myself
I'm
for
not
myself.
diminishing. I'm trying to. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
trying
No, I
to.
got you.
No,
diminish
you're
what-
not
but,
taking
like,
anything away from this.
in November.
Yep.
And I talked about that at the seminar a
Right
little
on,
tiny
yep.
bit. Like people who hunt their first year and like do something totally different than everyone else ever did because it's their first year hunting.
Mhm.
They usually get one.
Say
Because
that-
it's
say that
different.
again?
If they're out there trying.
It wasn't your first year. I'm not saying that.
That was my first year with the bow and happened to be in public. Like it was like a really
It was awesome.
No, this is your second deer with the bow because you got
first
the
buck
doe.
with the bow. Sorry.
you go.
Yeah.
But you did that. No one
Well,
told you to hunt
yeah.
that night. You did.
No.
Yeah, my wife was like,
you picked the
"What?"
spot. You went there.
God, I
But,
remember
like,
going. To
that's
the, I remember
such
going
an
to the gas station
inspiration.
on the way home, just blood, walking in camouflage, grabbing bags of ice because it was hot, and I was like,
Yep.
I felt so good. I was like, they even think I murdered someone. This is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Election night, and I'm walking around full
Oh,
blood.
do
It's
you
great.
Sure, thanks.
All right. Well, I don't know. I got not much else. I know you got to. I don't know how you make your drive home every night. We went there with our family, and I was like, "This is taking forever." So
Anticipation does that to you.
it's a hike from here to there, and there's a lot of deer on that pass.
I'm always like, I should ask that guy for permission to hunt. I
Uh-huh.
should ask that person for permission.
There you go.
And as you,
But
as you-
how many
as you
times have I
pass,
asked?
You see
Zero.
tower
Are we going to
stands
see you in
all
the
over.
studio in hunting season at all?
Me?
Yeah. I'm like, sorry guys, not coming
Dude, I'm
tonight.
putting in summertime. It's like I am with my wife.
Mm.
I'm really not because I went to Illinois.
Yeah, how'd that work? Just fine.
You went with your dad, right? That's bonding time.
I went with my dad, and my dad was a trooper.
Yeah.
So my dad's going through some back issues right now,
Mhm.
and it's been feeling okay. But I mean, this last weekend in Illinois, it was 93 degrees both
Yuck.
days,
That was a hot
100%
weekend.
humidity. Somebody asked me to text pictures. Was it one of you guys?
Might have been.
No,
One of my friends said, "Do you have any pictures?"
I was up in Green Bay.
And I said
was me.
no. I couldn't use Spartan Forge. Couldn't use anything on my phone. Couldn't take pictures.
Mhm.
Here's why. Everything was drenched in water
Soaked.
from walking in because it's 100% humidity. It's
Did
93
your phone
degrees.
shut off?
No, my phone didn't shut off, but I couldn't touch it. I had nowhere to dry my finger. I tried drying on trees. I had nowhere. I tried drying on my
Should've
socks.
I-
Every single thing
And
was
this
wet.
is why he
I
looks
could
10
not
pounds
open
lighter.
my phone.
I
I'm
did
not kidding. Couldn't open my phone.
Dude, I did a 5-mile run yesterday,
Couldn't open it.
which was amazing because I've been
Pictures are
running in all the
overrated.
miserable weather.
How long?
5 miles. I
did like a mile and a half tonight. I almost died.
well, I've been running like the worst circumstances I could.
That's what
Do,
you do.
Are you
right?
pretending a
So-
grizzly's chasing you or what?
Well, then well, no, not for 5 fucking miles. So last night
Could happen.
3 months.
I
3 miles.
I was just like, I need to go for a run. It's been a couple days. I brought one of the kids with, and it was so nice out that I was like, this is easy. And I was literally like, I was like, I'm just going to keep going. So I just kept turning down every road I could to get to, I was like, well, not there yet, not there. And I just kept turning down to get
You
to
just
5
kept
miles.
those little bitch hips going. Huh?
Yeah, it was great. But my hat was so sweat up that like the brim was dripping off of the. You know what I mean? When what you're talking about, the wet, sweaty hands. I couldn't. It was just everywhere. I was like drenched. My shirt was just disgusting, and yeah.
So honestly, normally the driest place on you is like what?
I don't know, nothing.
Like your upper pants or like
You would think like
Not when you're
because
doing
usually
that.
your lower pants get soaked from like walking
Everything-
through brush
well,
or
yeah.
weeds or creeks or
Right.
whatever, and then like my shirt gets soaked because I'm just a sweaty bastard and I just sweat all over.
Mhm.
But like I'm looking for dry spots. The only dry spot I had the first day was
Was there your
my
ankle?
pants went over my boots. Was
Wow.
dry because it was like there was
not
do.
touching your skin. And,
it didn't get cold at night.
Oh,
It was like 85 at night. It was like 90 in the morning. Perfect.
sign me up.
No do. It was terrible. So I
Yeah.
like dried my phone off on my pants and I could use it and I could like drop a pin. And the next 2 days I couldn't
you got to bring a towel next time.
nothing.
Keep it in your back
It was
pocket or something.
absolutely. And my dad went through all of it. Like he did all of it. I was so impressed.
That's awesome.
How big of a pile was he when he was done? I bet he slept like a baby.
Or grizzly
I
in
mean,
hibernation.
he did good. He did good. We went out to dinner.
Like that.
I didn't hear him snoring. I was sleeping on the other side of the cabin.
That's good.
Doesn't someone snore in your family? You talked about this.
My dad snores.
Yeah, so the
Well,
grizzly.
he's
is
got
probably
sleep
accurate.
apnea.
Yeah,
so-
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of him, but my dad's got one of those. What are those things called? The
The sleep machine, man.
yeah, it's called something. What's it called? You're right. It's a sleep
I don't know
machine.
what it's
The-
called. They put the mask on.
yeah, the mask.
CPAP.
CPAP machine.
Yes.
My buddy Clayton just got a CPAP machine. My dad goes, "Well, I've had one for 10 years. Welcome to the club." He's like, my dad's like making fun of him as like he's proud that he's had one longer.
Yeah. I
Like that- that's not really
one
like,
of them there
you know.
CPACs.
So now there's gonna be two of those things at freaking deer camp this year, which is good because then they don't
Oh yeah,
snore. You
they're
know,
wider, way quieter.
yeah.
So
it's awesome.
either the snoring will get you, or the CPAP humming away will.
Are you coming up to deer
CPAP's
camp?
like white noise. I know you like white noise because
Yeah.
you crashed in that hotel room with me, and you play box fan sound or something like that.
Dude, I need white noise.
Yeah.
My kids sleep to white noise,
So do I.
like fan
have a
noises,
fan
white
room,
noise,
yeah.
whatever. I
There's
do
usually
too.
2 fans running in my bedroom.
My wife plays 3.
Jesus.
We
Well,
have like
so
a
the kids
little
have the
one.
little
Those
Alexa
are rookie
speakers.
numbers,
Yeah.
bro.
and
Rookie
they
numbers.
play like thunderstorm
You
sounds.
should waste way more energy.
Yeah, right. We should.
I love paying money so we can sleep.
You and freaking Captain Eric over there.
I
That's a
tell
little
my
bit
son that because we drive up north a lot, right? Drive to Green Bay, drive up the cabin. So when we pass semis,
Yeah,
he opens the
I
window
don't
and goes,
do it. honk it. Yeah.
dude, I read posts all the time, like on social media. They're like semi truckers. Oh, we wish kids would do that. There's like 2 people that will do it.
Yeah, they don't.
We passed 48 people. 2 people will do it. Everyone else is like,
Can't do
pissed
that
off,
anymore.
look.
Yeah,
Pissed off, look.
they're
My
on the
son's
cell
5,
phone.
and he's,
they're
like,
doing
smiling.
something.
The old honk honk. We
Yeah.
used to do that
Come on,
as kids all
Yeah.
the time.
come on,
Different world. Back
rip
then.
it up.
You
Yeah.
also probably in the back of a station wagon, unbuckled.
That
you know,
too.
flipping people off.
And drank from a garden hose.
Yeah,
They were in
I'm
the
from
back of
that
my
era.
My
hunting.
kids drank from a garden hose this past weekend. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they
They're
grow
alive.
a third eye and a flipper?
No,
See, they're fine.
they have
They're
COVID. They're
fine.
COVID.
Throw a little
vaccinated
dirt
now.
on it. It's okay.
Yeah. My kid eats dirt a lot.
Mhm.
It's one of those main.
It's
you know,
good.
Courses, yeah.
I mean,
They don't hurt.
what do pheasants do? What do grouse do? They
They
little-
got a little
throw
crop there.
gravel in there. And
Like that chicken from Moana.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
like a
hey.
chicken eating the rock.
Puts it in there. It's like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
I feel like we started pretty strong today,
Now we're
And
talking
now
about
we're
Moana.
finishing
but that's
pretty
good.
weak.
That's good.
All right. Well,
1
on that
hour
note,
and 23 minutes in.
thanks everybody for listening today. Go give us a review.
If you've seen
Never
Moana,
listen to
give
this
us a 5-star.
jackassery again. Moana. They talked
We're gonna
about
have
Moana.
5, not 5-star reviews. We're gonna have 5 1-star reviews after this episode.
Yeah, we
but
will.
Either
At
way,
least.
it's
Give us
It's
some
fine.
feedback.
We
Let's
love
talk
you
about it.
too.
Yeah. Well, and let me just while we're here talking about that, let me see what's on our roster because
What is on the roster?
might as well
Stay
just
tuned.
talk about it really quick. Let me check the old schedule.
I
of
just
events.
next week. Me and
Oh my
the
God,
kids
wait a
and
second.
The wife are going to Devil's Rock State Park,
Devil's Lake.
Devil's Lake, whatever it's
State
called.
Park,
Never
but
been
there's
there.
rocks.
I
up
never been
there.
there. I heard there's a lot of rocks.
There's
It's
a
a
little
big,
rattlers.
it's a big
We're
lake. You
going
can
there.
just go anywhere in that lake.
2 nights. We're going.
It freaks me out. It's really deep. Evan Masters, is he going to be in town? Is he in studio next week? Then
You better call him.
I gotta touch base with
Because
him. He
who
booked
knows?
the
I
time.
don't know.
He's a pilot, so he's
yeah,
a commercial
he
pilot.
could have gotten called to do some work, but
So we'll confirm, but I think Evan, if you're listening, maybe you can reach out to me, or I'll certainly reach out to you either way. But it looks like
We'll
he's
get
on
you.
deck for next week, and
We'll
if
find
he is,
you.
he's going to be here.
Cool.
And then we have another in-studio guest on the 23rd, which is the week before our event on the 27th, which I'm going to be confirming that location this Thursday. So next week I will have an official announcement about Foam Fest. But Jessica Ann is going to be, I believe, in studio with us also that following week. She's with the Wild Race TV show. So she hunts in South Africa, Wisconsin. She does youth hunting contests. She's
out of our league.
we met her at the trade show.
Cool.
And her, I don't know which relative of hers is like, I think one of the owners of the company my dad works for. So like my dad will talk about our podcast and she'll talk. So it's really interesting. We'll finally like get to meet.
So you better behave then.
Is that? No.
That it's called The Wild Race. So check it out. Jessica Ann.
Okay.
She's on. I forget.
We met.
She had a whole film crew with her.
Yeah, they came with her, and you talked to the film guy for a while.
Yep.
Is that her?
Yep.
All right. I remember her.
She's, I think, by trade, she's an RN.
Cool.
And then she does all of these, crazy hunting trips. So,
Chipmunks,
and that's all I have.
groundhogs.
I don't have anything else. So, we'll probably the calendar will fill
wires
up.
got crossed there. We'll talk about it after we get off.
But what's that, Greg?
It's fine. We're good.
Greg's getting deep in thought over here. All right, thanks, folks, for tuning in. I'm on a live broadcast, and well, I don't know. I keep doing this thing in my hand. It's like
I like it. It's you're doing the infinity symbol.
just
Like,
doing circle
just
lights,
keep
just
going.
trying to get the muskie. All right, see you guys. Bye.